right downwind.
Well, now it's November 16th. Keegan's up to bat. These guys put down a great 8.5-year-old buck 6 days ago. Keegan's hunting in a real thick area. Bucks are definitely in that heavy chasing phase. Breeding is starting to happen. The does have been chased now. They really start to orient to heavy cover. They're sneaking around hiding, and the bucks are gonna have to spend a lot of time covering ground and looking for them, and that's what they're banking on. They've got really solid access to this stand. They can just kind of glide right in, got the wind in their favor almost the entire way, and really kind of leaving most of the heavy cover alone. Before they start, they're taking some wind floaters and trying to understand, exactly where is our wind going, where kind of their danger area might be. They've used a phase to completely eliminate their human scent beforehand, try and really reduce their footprint.
All right, guys, here we are, November 16th. We snuck into this stand, bumped a doe with 2 bucks on her, so we're hoping something happens. Maybe the scent of this doe in here. We have a southeast wind. It's about perfect for this stand unless they sneak around behind us. We're gonna get tucked in and we're gonna start doing some calling and get going here.
Keegan's excited. He's after a 16.5-year-old buck, a buck they passed last year, pretty great buck, and they've got trail camera pictures of him and a bunch of history with him. The bucks have transitioned out of late pre-rut and really heavy chasing. They're counting on, maybe catching a buck with a doe or possibly being able to call a buck that's in between does. A lot of times we'll use what's called blind calling. It's when you can't see a buck, you don't know there's a buck in the area, but you're just trying to reach out, maybe a buck that's bedded 100 yards away or a buck that's walking down in a ravine somewhere, but he can hear the calls, but you can't see him. It's one of the most effective techniques that you can do with whitetail bucks, using both the extinguisher and the black racks to blind call, because obviously you don't see mature bucks all that often, but that blind call can bring deer that you never saw. Next thing you know, they're right in your lap at 20 yards. It's amazing. And they're kind of scanning, trying to understand, did it work? Has anything hurt us? And all of a sudden, boom, right behind them, 30 yards away, this buck, Keegan's target buck, is circling and gonna end up right in their downwind side.
Right. Oh, snap. Are you kidding me? Dude, we've been here 20 minutes. Oh, yeah, 20. How did that even happen? Right downwind. Like directly downwind through our scent cone. That doesn't tell you what phase does. That's it right there.
This. Look at this. There it is, floating in.
That's right where.
Floating in. Straight down within 5 feet of where we killed him. He walked right through the scent. It's unbelievable.
That deer's probably at least 6, if not older. We've had him for 3 years. Passed him last year. Showed up out of nowhere. I'm guessing he came out of the corn. Came down, walked directly downwind, and I smoked him at 20 yards. Dude.
I cannot believe this just happened.
So this is just an unbelievable hunt. They haven't even been in the tree 15 minutes, barely even set up. Keegan doesn't even have his gloves on. They do a little bit of calling sequence, and this buck is in their lap. Their target buck, 6.5-year-old buck, Goes to show you how crazy it can be sometimes. You know, lightning can strike when you just least expect it.
Look at that deer. What do you think? Look at those twos. I just can't believe that this actually happened, you know? It's kind of a rough wind for us. Our farm's not really set up for it, so we got all phased up, got into the tree. Not 20 minutes later, after a calling session, he came out of the cornfield and walked straight through our scent cone and had no clue we were there. Mouth wide open, on a mission, looking, and the phase just outperformed today.
Keegan and Teran have two great trophy bucks, you know, a 6.5-year-old and an 8.5-year-old on the ground inside of a week. I mean, just nothing but congratulations to a really, really hard-working team, and those guys deserve it more than anybody. The keys to this hunt, they started out with being in a heavy, thick area, an area where does can hide and really spend a lot of time trying to get away from some of these bucks, and the bucks are covering ground through there, so they're in good, thick cover during the peak of the rut during November 16th. Using their phase tools and really trying to take it to the next level of being scent free, because they knew they were going to be calling, you know, using their extinguisher, using their black racks, trying to pull bucks into their area, knowing that this 6.5-year-old buck was in the area, using their wind floaters to understand exactly where their wind was going, so that if a buck ever got down there, you know, they'd be ready to shoot. And then just a really great execution of an awesome shot. You really got to hand it to these guys for doing so many things right that led to a real victory on this hunt.